for 9 months, 16 months, 19 months without getting paid.
So you see how much kidnappers are taking from victims.
My thing is, problems with the all the stakeholders we are seeing, we need to get that, and I think we get that. The 3% for the oil producing community is too low.
But the support that is needed, and once you get the support, your airline people will blossom.
This is Nigeria. You need to give people sense of belonging.
Good morning, viewers. Welcome to Tuesday edition of Inside Nigeria. Today, April 26, 2022. My name is Bode Badebo. As usual, we shall be looking at front page stories of some national dailies, and as well have a discussion about a trending issue of the day. And without much ado, we're starting with Nigeria's most influential newspaper, The Leadership. On the front page of Leadership this morning, cite 2023 presidency, citing fairness. Southern Middle Belt leaders make case for Southeast. 2023 presidency, citing fairness. Southern Middle Belt leaders make case for Southeast. Go and put your house in order, Afenifere tells Igbo politicians. Northern stakeholders warn against pitting North against South. And that's that on the front page of Leadership this morning. We have similar stories on the front page of THISDAY newspaper. So quickly, let's see what we have on the front page of THISDAY before my guest will join me to weigh in on this story. On the front page of THISDAY this morning, it's Igbo's turn to produce president in 2023. Afenifere Middle Belt Forum, Pandef insists it's Igbo's turn to produce president in 2023. Afenifere Middle Belt Forum and Pan Niger Delta Forum, Pandef insist declare Yoruba's presidential bid inelegant. Say unfortunate Jonathan allowed himself to be disgraced. That is the story on the front page of THISDAY this morning, related to the front page of Nigeria's most influential newspaper, The Leadership, as we have seen earlier. And of course, joining me to weigh in on these two stories is Mazi Nnamdi Iwebu, convener, Indigenous People of Nigeria, IPN. Good morning, Mazi Iwebu.
Good morning, my brother. How you doing? Thank you for having me today.
Thank you so much for creating time to join us here at the Leadership Television. Now, Mazi, you
Pleasure
have
is
seen the
mine.
stories we have on the front pages of Leadership and THISDAY newspaper. You have seen the stories. And I learned you are at the Greater Nigeria Conference yesterday, where these stories emanated. So, first of all, let me ask you, the Greater Nigerian Conference yesterday, which we reported today on the front pages of Leadership and THISDAY, what is it all about? Just bring us up to speed. What is it all about?
First of all, let me commend Leadership for even making it a headline issue, because it's an important issue. The Greater Nigeria Conference came about because there was a need for the Nigerian people, particularly the ethnic nationalities, to consider their interests in the project Nigeria. The project clearly is all about how to make this country a greater country. And of course, there's no way you can discuss greatness of a country where there's no justice, equity, and fairness. So the platform clearly was simply to ensure that those angles that should promote nationalism, that should promote togetherness, and all of that amongst citizens, is promoted. Especially, that this is a political year, and the politicians are already, positioning for one thing or the other. Particularly at that conference, it was clearly an issue, just as the Leadership and other major newspapers in Nigeria carried. It was clearly stated where that the 2023 presidency ought to come from. At that conference, it was where we discussed clearly, irrespective of ethnic leaning or religious leaning and all of that. There you could hear the leadership of PANDEF, the leadership of Afenifere, the leadership of the Middlebelt Forum, the various leaderships, from various ethnic groups were there to ensure that they promoted what will bring about peace in Nigeria. And what is that? That Nigerians should support the 2023 presidency to go to the southeastern Nigeria. That is what we came out with, and that is a germane, position, if you ask me. And this is what will guarantee peace that will now birth the development that we so much desire in our country. So it was a wonderful outing. I was there personally, and all the major presidential aspirants from the southeast were there, and they engaged in that direction. And clearly, it's not necessarily all about give it to the Igbo. No, we're not saying Igbo people come and bring a president. We're saying do unto B as was done to A and C and all of that. We're saying the Nigerian people, irrespective of the ethnic place where they come from, should please promote this direction, that the next president of Nigeria should come from the southeast for the purposes of equity, justice, and fairness.
Now, Mazi Rebu, a lot of people will tell you that argument does not hold water because power has always rotated between only north and south. But now it's no longer about south, it is about the southeast. And if you recall, the PDP started the concept of rotation or zoning in 1999. Now, the major call from that conference yesterday was to all political parties to make sure that they zone their presidential slots to the southeast. Is that possible?
First of all, let me
might tell you we don't subscribe to the concept of zoning or rotation.
Let me state clearly that it is not true that the position that was taken at the conference is not the common general position. It is the common general position. Every Nigerian is yearning for one thing: a better nation, a greater nation. But you see, this greater nation cannot be attained, where there's no justice, equity, and fairness. Yes, we know that power is not given. Yes, we know that power is taken. We, at that conference, clearly stated that rotational presidency was proposed at the Abacha conference in 1995. It was by the former Vice President of Nigeria, late Dr. Alex Ekweme. He proposed it at the Abacha conference in 1995. And of course, Abacha, who, if you ask me, in my own understanding, in my own opinion, Abacha was a nationalist, better than what we have, amongst our leaders today, who are, holding on to power as if, they don't understand that Nigeria belongs to all of us. Abacha bought into that vision and embraced it. It's just unfortunate that he died before the 1999 Constitution, came into existence. And those who drafted this document that is, in fact, our major problem in Nigeria today is the 1999 Constitution. Those who drafted it deliberately avoided that germane idea, that wonderful idea that power should rotate. Yes, PDP came on board, talking about north and south rotation of power. But you see, there are 6 geopolitical zones in Nigeria. Why the constitution of the parties cannot talk about the issue of southeast, south, or southwest, or northeast, or north central, and all of that, is simply because the Constitution of Nigeria only recognizes northern Nigeria and southern Nigeria. However, because the gentleman agreement that was entered into by the politicians that, understood that, why did the military in the First Republic strike? Why did they also strike in the Second Republic? Why did they also strike in the Third Republic? The research carried out indeed informed that because of the inequality that exists in Nigeria, that is why the military disrupted the democratic development of our country in the First and Second and Third Republic. So in the Fourth Republic, therefore, it was proposed that rotational of this particular position of presidency will bring about some element of cohesion, some element of sense of ownership of the country. So when the parties talked about rotation of power between North and South, of course, when it comes to South, as we are clamoring for now, we will definitely discuss the issue of microzoning. And of course, when you now say microzoning, in the southern Nigeria, Southwest has had 8 years presidency. Southwest by 2023 would have had 8 years vice presidency. South has had 2 years plus vice presidency and 5 years plus presidency. What about the Southeast? That is the question here. We all belong to this nation. Nobody was born to rule, and nobody was born to be ruled. That is the point that we all need to make for ourselves as citizens of Nigeria. If this country belongs to all of us, if we want this country to work, then every Nigerian must be given that sense of belonging, that sense of participation, that sense of ownership of fatherland. And that is what this call for power rotation to the Southeast is all about. It's not necessarily from the premise of, oh, what is the few people who are greedy, as far as I'm concerned, who are saying, oh, that rotation of presidency is not what will bring about the greatness of Nigeria. That's a lie from the pit of hell. First, you must ensure that you enthrone justice, that you enthrone equity, that you enthrone fairness. Then you can talk about, the issue of development. They say, oh, competence. At that conference yesterday, of course, it was the Afenifere leader who clearly stated that if you talk about competence, where more do you have competent people in Nigeria than the Southeast? If you talk about merit, where more do you have people in Nigeria who, can be said to have merited any position that they get in this country than the Southeast? So about competence, we have them in quantum in the Southeast. So that nonsense talk about competence is all badadash as far as I'm concerned. What we are saying is that this country, we want the best for our country, and it is important that we give sense of belonging to all Nigerians. So let us do this justice so that we can have development in our country.
All right, Mazi Iwebu, for want of time, let me quickly ask you. I have 2 more questions for you before I allow you to go. Now, you check back what we have on the front page of leadership. We have a rider to that list story, which you commended, that Afenifere is telling the Igbo politicians to go and put their house in order. So what do you make of that? Your house in the Southeast seems to be disunited. So you need to put it in order before you can actually get the presidency. What do you make of that call by Afenifere?
That the house of the Southeasterners is not together. That's not true. The issue of unity of zones in Nigeria, if you check properly, you will be fair to say that indeed the most united zone in Nigeria are the Southeasterners. That's a fact. And I will tender those facts here. Let's just use a recent event. The 2015 election, the former president, Goodluck Jonathan, went around this country and reached out. And of course, because we identified with what Jonathan stood for, because we identified that if we are talking about nationhood, that there was a need for the implementation of the 2014 National Confab document. And so we aligned with Jonathan. Other zones also promised Jonathan that they were going to be with him, including Jonathan's own zone, the South-South. But unfortunately, the only zone that stood by Jonathan, we kept our word, was the Southeast. And that is the hate that the current administration has against the Southeast today, because we firmly clearly. Right. Can you hear me? The Southeasterners have been justified rejecting Buhari's government, Buhari's emergence in 2015. We have clearly been justified. So about being united, Southeasterners are united. What the Afenifere leader did yesterday was spoke directly to the politicians, particularly the aspirants, the PDP and APC and other major political party presidential aspirants who are from the Southeast. They clearly, he clearly advised them that there is a need for all of you to understand that this is not about yourselves, individual selves, but about a people. And in
I think that Mazi Iwebu's connection is getting frozen. He has been speaking on the 2023 presidential election, or rather, Southeast presidency, how feasible in 2023. And of course, I have been speaking with Mazi Inamdi Iwegbe, convener, indigenous people of Nigeria. If you are able to reestablish that connection, we will continue the discussion. Okay, Mazi Iwegbe is back. So I need you to complete your line of thought.
Yes, my point clearly is that about the unity of the Southeasterners, we are together in this. And I'm happy that the Pandef, the Afenifere, the Middle Belt, even the Northern Elders Forum and all of that, I am very happy that they are together in this call for power rotation to the Southeastern Nigeria. The politicians from the Southeast have been so advised, and I can assure you, even I think it was 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, that the major aspirants under PDP came together to speak to the Nigerian people that they are together in this. And so the issue of unity, it is a concluded deal that the Southeast is united in the demand for Southeast presidency. I can assure you that.
All right, lastly, if you don't agree with the issue of disunity among the political class in the Southeast, now let me ask you this second to the last question. Now, election apathy is very, very apparent in the Southeast, at least in the last two general elections, 2019 and 2015. So if you're actually serious about getting Southeast presidency in 2023, what are you doing to address the issue of election apathy in the Southeast?
Southeasterners are a people you find in different parts of Nigeria. We are not confined particularly to the Southeast. So when you say, in fact, when they even talk about how we don't have the numbers, you see that it's a lie also, because most Southeasterners, you see them out there in Lagos. After the indigenes in Lagos, the next group of people that have the majority in Lagos State are Southeasterners. Same in Kano, same in Abuja, same in Makurdi, same in Plateau, same in every part of Nigeria you go to. So about numbers, the numbers are there. Now, the issue that we have in the Southeast, the issue particularly about IPOB and the sit at home and the voter apathy you talked about. You see, when a people have been so terribly maltreated, when a people have been so terribly disenfranchised, because if you observe at the last election, what's it called? Electronic capturing of the process was strictly adhered to in the Southeast. But in other parts of Nigeria, when you go there and you try, it didn't work, and they resorted to manual accreditation and all of that. So what we are saying is that, please, this part of Nigeria, that is the Southeast, the earlier we reintegrate the Southeasterners to Nigeria, the better for this country. These negative narratives that we cook up most of the time against the Southeast, if you check it, it's not for the good of this country. So I appeal, particularly to the media, to please begin deliberately to change this demonic attack against a particular zone in Nigeria, that is the Southeast. It is not right. Let us treat everybody fairly. The issue of voter apathy, yeah, a few may not be available to vote, but look out for 2023. Should the Southeast, particularly the two major political parties, zone their presidential ticket to the Southeast, watch out for it. You would know that indeed the Southeasterners, value clearly. In fact, we are Republicans by nature. So that process of choosing leadership, you would be very sure that the Southeasterners will come out en masse to vote the next president of Nigeria, particularly when they see that justice indeed is guaranteed on the table.
All right, Mazi, finally, you are the convener of Indigenous People of Nigeria. So what is that all about, Indigenous People of Nigeria, IPN? What's it all about?
Yes, Indigenous People of Nigeria came about because personally, I said to myself, alongside other members of the organization, we said, how can a group of people who call themselves, for instance, indigenous people of a nation that doesn't exist, that is, the indigenous people of Biafra, and that they are holding our nation to ransom, and the narrative is such that is negative against the citizens of Nigeria. Meanwhile, the nation itself, Nigeria, that is in existence, we seem to have abandoned our nation. And so we came together and said, can we stir love? Can we stir patriotism? Can we stir ownership of our country again? You understand me? Nigeria came into existence because there were people here. The Yorubas were here before amalgamation in 1914. The Hausas were here. The Igbos were here. The Ibibios were here. The Ijaws were here. The TV were here. The Domas were here. All the ethnic nationalities that makes Nigeria, they were all here before that amalgamation in 1914. So how come? How come we're not taking ownership of our country? That is how we came about the idea of, starting off the indigenous people of Nigeria movement, so that we can instigate amongst, nationalities that makes Nigeria the consciousness to own fatherland. Because if we don't own this land, then invaders, as we have today, coming into our country, will come in, rape, maim, kill, do all sorts of negative things, because the land seems to be an abandoned environment. But if we all take ownership of our country, when invaders come in, we identify them as it used to be. Because you wonder, all of these negative things happening in our country, that marauders came into our country and ravaging the system, ravaging every part of Nigeria, and you wonder, when they came into those communities, why couldn't those community people raise alarm? How come that from amongst citizens of Nigeria, we see this kind of evil going on? That's why we started the indigenous people of Nigeria to start campaigning towards ensuring that we promote sense of ownership of fatherland. That is what the group is about.
All right, many thanks to you, Mazi Nnamdi Iruegbu, convener.
Thank you so much.
People of Biafra. Many thanks to you for joining us this morning, and we look forward to have you whenever the need arises.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm available anytime.
All right. Thank you, Mazi. Now, Mazi has been speaking on the Southeast presidency, how feasible in 2023. Now, let's quickly move to the top newspaper on our menu this morning. That is the National Economy, which is our sister publication. On the front page of National Economy this morning, unemployment poverty exposed Nigerians to Ponzi schemes. Unemployment, poverty exposed Nigerians to Ponzi schemes, and a lot of them have been falling victims where they have been ripped of their hard-earned money. To help me to actually provide insight or explain this story is Ayodeji Oladele, international business lawyer and IT consultant from Russia. Good morning, Ayodeji.
Yeah, good morning to you.
Yeah, thank you for your patience. I understand you have been waiting for a long time. Thank you for your patience. So how is Russia this morning in Nigeria? I know it's afternoon in Russia.
Yes, we're fine. Thank you very much.
All right. Ayodeji, you can see what we have on our sister publication, National Economy, this morning, talking about unemployment and poverty exposing Nigerians to Ponzi schemes. I know they keep falling victims. People are ripping them over hard-earned money. Now tell me, do you agree with the story that it's unemployment and poverty that are pushing Nigeria, or there are other factors you think are responsible?
Well, talking about Ponzi, there is this deja vu effect of something you've seen before. And it seems like an avenue that the bad guys take advantage of, because you see Nigerians falling victim again and again. But however, let's come back to addressing the issue with the main question of what is the root cause of this problem that we have in our finance sector. Well, I think unemployment is a factor, but greed is the ultimate factor that comes into play first. But when you look at the situation, from various angles. A lot of people are out there unemployed, and there are a lot of financial tensions. People are looking for how they can make ends meet for themselves. And so the fall date of all these Ponzi schemes and fraudulent investment opportunities. However, there's also the factor of legislation, like I always talk about, in on the side of the government. What is the government's policy on such activities? So these are also factors. Can anyone just come up and say, okay, I have a business and I'm taking investment from people? We know that our system gives room for public liability companies that can sell shares to individuals or maybe some capital ventures. But can anyone just wake up one day and say, "Oh, I have an investment company. Bring your money. I'll double it. You will get so percentage at the end of the day." And I also think lack of literacy is a factor too. People don't go through the extent of investigating the companies that they want to invest in. Is the company registered? Do they have a physical address? Or is it just some company floating online with no physical presence? Who are the directors of this company? What are their portfolio? Where have they studied? Do they have experience in economic and finance management before you give them your money? I think these are some very important questions people should ask. So it's a two-way street. You can blame unemployment, you can blame government policies, you can blame greed or whatever emotions that you want to quote. But I think everybody is guilty in this party.
In fact, I was going to also say national economy identify financial lack of financial literacy, but you just also address that. But you can look at the figures we are putting on our screen. 300 billion naira. Nigerians have lost 300 billion naira so far in the last few years to Ponzi schemes. 18 billion, 3 million investors lost about 18 billion to the infamous Mavodi Mundia movement, MMM, in 2016. And another 17 billion was lost to MBA Trading and Capital Investment Limited. There are many of them, Deji, across the country. 300 billion naira, is a whole lot of money that can build infrastructure, build hospital, build school, and the rest of them. So what do you think the government can do to actually put this kind of thing in a check?
Well, I have not been living in Nigeria for a while, but I'm abreast with some of the information. If I'm not mistaken, as at the time of Obasanjo's regime, the capital base for a bank was about 25 billion naira. I don't know what the capital base for a financial bank is now, but 300 billion naira, however, is a big money. I'm sure it's enough to establish a bank that can afford small scale loaning for serious minded
Exactly.
people who wants to go into some form of small scale business or even some medium scale enterprise or large scale enterprises in some cases, depending on how much the banks will be willing to give um, for these loans or whatever package they want to give to the people. So I think government should look into some fiscal policies that will enable empowerment for genuine people who have desires to put money into any form of investment. I'll also want to indulge and advise Nigerians that if you want to go into a form of investment and your return on investment is very high. Like we all know how business works. Even the commercial banks don't give such high interest rates. So, I mean, if someone is promising you 50%, 75%, even anything above 25%, you should be skeptical. What are the modus operandi? How will this turn? What would be the turnover, and how it's the mathematics working? It should be some open information, not that you just give your money blindly and assume that, oh, this is what they say they are into, and it doesn't really work like that sometimes.
So greediness is another factor.
Yes.
But lastly, tell me your experience in Russia. Do we have similar things happening in Russia? Or there
Well,
are serious fiscal measures in place that will ordinarily prevent this kind of schemes operating?
Well, as you know, necessity is the mother of invention. Criminals will always devise new ways to defraud people, and that's why legislation has to be one step ahead. From experience, people learn, and then the government rectifies some things. As you know, MMM had an origination here in Russia that was several years ago. A lot of people lost their money, and the government quickly stepped in, made new legislations to forbid Ponzi schemes and some types of multi-level marketing where people are enticed and they get trapped in the process. So it's something that is forbidden here. Ponzi schemes are not allowed. It's illegal. There's a legislation against it, and the law frowns against it. So I think Nigeria should be able to mirror and emulate something like this to prevent the loss on the financial side of innocent and average Nigerians. Irrespective of we saying greed, unemployment, and whatever factor we can quote, I think the government is still the principal in this subject to provide necessary and adequate legislations to protect the Nigerian citizens against such callous and shark infesting ferocious business men and women.
All right, Deji, I understand you very well. We have provided, far-reaching solution, all-inclusive fiscal measures in place, and of course, legislations to protect Nigerians against these schemers. Yes, and I believe that's what is obtainable in Russia too.
Yes. So once the government has been able to take the first step of adequate legislation, I think the central bank and other financial organizations can also work on public enlightenment to make people understand the fact that you should shy away from excessive profit or make money quick schemes where someone can tell you, oh, in 6 months, in 3 months, in 2 weeks. They have all these timelines that they use to date people, and always find out who and where you're putting your money. How old is the company? Who are the board of directors? What are their track records? What financial institutions are they related with or tied to? What are the track records? I mean, they should also consider factors of like where is the company located, what are the staff strengths. I mean, if you're giving, for example, let's say 100,000 to an institution to invest for you, you should be able to come back next week, next month, next year, and they should still be there. You should be able to get maybe some monthly report or annual or quarterly report. There should be something for you to be convinced that this is not just some jamboree that some people have put together, and you won't just wake up tomorrow sorry for yourself that the directors have disappeared, the office has been locked, no one is there, and the same story seems to happen every 2 years or every 4 years interval. I think public orientation is very important, and this will help people to be able to guard against future occurrence of such situations.
Sure. Many thanks to you, Ayodeji Oladele, international business lawyer and IT consultant based in Russia. My brother, thank you for joining me this morning, and I hope to see more of you on this show again.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was a pleasure.
Enjoy the rest of your day. And that was Deji Oladele, who has been speaking to me from the Russian city of Nobrist. Thank you for joining us. Now, the next newspaper on our menu today is The Nation and newspaper. And what we have on the front page of The Nation and newspaper: PDP ex-governors, aspirants reject consensus candidate. PDP's governors aspirants reject consensus candidate, and this one issue that has been unsettling the polity and as well as the opposition People's Democratic Party. We don't know how this will pan out, but it's a matter of time. We hope they'll be able to actually sort out the issue that is unsettling some members of the party. PDP as governors aspirants with just consensus candidates. And that's on the Tuesday edition of Inside Nigeria this morning. My name remains Badibo. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye for now.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.